Today I wanted to show you a MCP server architecture. So this is my application. It's a really small application to show you the basics of a MCP server. So in my case, I have installed .env for storing some information in a .env file. I do overwrite it from the default values if it's been specified in the env file. So if I open the env file, the .env, of course there are no secret keys or secret informations, so I can show all of this to you. No secret information, that's fine. It's just the app version, the MCP name of our application, that's the name, description, tags, and you will see later on that I do split after each keyword, and then contact email and the website. And then we have the base URL as well, and we have the port. That's one, and that's the app version. And then we register Fastify static for the public folder, which is just here. I use Fastify, but of course we could have used express.js, we could have used nest.js, but Fastify is quite good for any JavaScript or TypeScript applications. And I really like Fastify, I'm quite used to it. And then here we have the port, and we mention again the console log when we run the application, when we do a npm start. Why npm start? It's simple actually. If we go here, the npm start is what will build and what will run the server. So we build it with TSC. So TSC is to compile the TypeScript files into JavaScript files. And then we have the start one. The public folder, it's quite simple. It's just for the specification. I wanted to, to manually specify the specifications of our MCP server. So we also have email, website. I need to double check for that one if it's correct or not. And the same for tags. I'm not too sure. I think that one is correct. And then version, description, name. And then that's the architecture I decided, but we could have everything. I mean, what you could do is just to have everything in a index.js or index.ts or server.ts. So server is because if we look again to package.json, I mentioned the entry point. So entry point is where all requests go to server.js, but it could have been index so it could have been like that if we have decided to change this one to index. But in my case, I just named it as server.ts. And then we have our root. So here we have the context root, and it's basically like it's part of the router of Fastify, Fastify.js, but it's exactly the same with express.js, the other framework, very common, very popular. And so here I mention the default values and what we do retrieve from our env file. And then we have the well-known model context. I speak a little bit about it here. So basically, it's all of this is like some very specific specifications. So because an MCP server is just like a REST API, I would say, but with really specific endpoints. And the way it returns the data, it's also really specific. And that's the differentiation, because the MCP server is like a bridge for a API model to speak to an application, to speak to another application. Recently, I've seen Google Analytics to release also their own MCP server in Python. And it's also available on GitHub. If you look for GitHub, Google Analytics, you will see the open source MCP server to communicate from AI models, LLM to Google Analytics. And we do the same with our MCP, our little MCP server here. So we have the context routes. Usually an MCP server is quite small. And then we have v1 content, that's for the content, and I decided to have v1 here. So if we change, it will not break. If we do breaking changes, we'll just do v2, and here it will just be quite different because it will be a breaking change. And then here we have well-known. This is quite new actually from the specification. We could just have done something like context. That would have been fine too. And then here we could have done something as simple as content, like this. But in my case, I use the .well-known. You can have a look on Google. It's new, but it has a lot of benefits. So that's why I have decided to use well-known. And then again, here we have the different props, the properties, name, description, version, the version we define in our .env, which is where is the version here, app version. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And the server, as you can see, is really small, really little. Again, here we register our public folder to deliver the specification. So the v1 JSON, where we have everything there. And then citation is for the GitHub repo. I have generated that one with AI. It's very simple. It's just a citation.cff. You can do the same too, so people can know how they can cite your GitHub repo. Then we have the license. I have changed license to license.md for having the markdown. Oh, here, sorry, that's another repo of mine, ToucanDB. And in our case, I just copy paste. It's MCP server API, not ToucanDB. But I suggest you to have a look to ToucanDB. Oh, I need to install. Oh, I thought I did install.env. Let me quickly have a look.env. Oh, it's not installed. I will do npm install.env. That package is missing. And now, is it here? Yes, it's here. So npm, yeah, that's fine. And now the other thing I wanted to do is to update the name, update project name from ToucanDB. But again, I can't wait to have your feedback and suggestion from ToucanDB. You can have a look. It's the URL is basically github.com/ph-7/ToucanDB, exactly like that. And here to MCP project, I would say. Well, all right, all good, that's done. And then we have .env, and I do commit the package-lock.json. I think it's a good idea, so we are sure that everybody else have exactly the same versions of the dependencies. And then install add.env package. I was using a lot yarn before, and for yarn it's like yarn add, but for npm it's npm install or npm I. Anyways, so yeah, add. All right, so now we have it. Now we have our .env, so we can do an npm start and hope for the best. And yes, it's we are getting there, but this I will just run this one, npm run dev. Npm run dev, that runs the, it's basically, it's a bit like nodemon. I was using nodemon a lot. So now we are in here, we have the login one, that's fine. And then what's the issue there? The object of login, but the error is not really clear. So okay, yeah, 429 is installed, and the error version mismatched. So we have a version mismatched with Fastify. Oh, I must have installed manually, yeah, for the plugin. Let's have a look. Fastify. What I will do is actually easy. I will just install npm I latest, and then I will do the same for Fastify. npm I latest. We want the latest versions. And here now it's 5.4. All right, let's see. npm start, or we might have to update in here. Oh no, that looks fine. Yeah, it's running actually, so that has been fixed. So you see, we went from 425 to 5.4, and here it's the latest, so we are happy with that. And yeah, npm I always, and TypeScript TF5, I'm happy with this. TS Node, I think there's a newer version actually of TS Node. Oh no, my bad. I thought there was one. Maybe I'm just getting confused with another package. And then Prettier, I think that's also, it was 3 recently. So I believe I did the last one. Oh yeah, 3.6, that's fine. And so we are just updating our packages, and here we generate the commit message that we update the dependencies. And so now, yes, npm start, it's really good, it's running, beautiful. And so I will do a git push Perfect. And so that's basically our MCP server. You see, it's simple. I have to update the specification to v1 because at the moment, if we go to the root, it's not using our specification, but that's okay for now. And yeah, and the context. And let me know if you have any questions. And I wish you a happy AI coding. Again, if you go to the repository, which is here, it's not on my profile, also github.com/ph-7. This time it's on a organization I own, which is Open Data. So Open Data for Science, 4 with the letter 4. Open Data for Science, MCP Server API. I will add a link below this video so you can directly have access, and you will see I add some really useful information for you to know more about a MCP server and how you can also build your own MCP server. MVP is minimum valuable product. Is when you want to create something with a minimum of effort for a maximum of impact. Minimum of effort for a maximum of impact. MVP, minimum valuable product. MCP is quite different. It's model context protocol, or I like to say machine consumable protocol, but a model context protocol. So yes, I wish you all of the best for you to build your own MCP API server, and let me know in comments what you think, what you want to know more about it, and I will. Oh, and yes, actually something I forgot to mention is the split. I told you I will explain to you how our tags works here, because I use a comma every time, and it's very simple actually. I just use the split function in our context roots.ts. I use split, and so it will create an array from there. And if we wanted to, we could revert that from the array. We could use join, and join it needs to be an array. So here now it's an array, and if we want to convert it back to a string, we would use join, and again join from comma. And so we have again the array, its key. So each key, we have key value, and so the value would become from the value of the array will become a string, and the delimiter will be again a comma, or could be a dash or something else. But in our case, we just need an array here, so we will keep as it is like that there. And yeah, that's it for now. So I will just commit the last changes. I don't commit that. And if we look at our commit here, we discussed also that context. Now you see I'm using the local v1 schema, which is super exciting, local context reference, instead of the model context.com one, the remote one. And everything is there pretty much. I will remove that comment because it's a bit redundant. So remove redundant comment. And the other changes, yeah, I just mentioned a little bit more context here on our README, and that's pretty much all. So I wish you again a happy AI coding journey with your MCP server, and see you in another video.